and welcome to another episode of the Get Out of Gaming Plus podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ben,
I am Alex.
and we are a bi-weekly nerdy talk podcast. We talk about things that we want to talk about, whether it's video games, anime, comics, movies, you name it, we probably talk about it. Most likely we talk about it.
Probably.
And probably talk about it. With side tangents along the way. This is your first time listening, welcome. Like I said, we're bi-weekly, so we do one every other week. But if you are looking for like, hey, I want to watch you guys in person, we have a YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube. The week that the podcast, the audio version launches, we also launch the YouTube version of it. Audio podcast, get it wherever you would get your audio podcast from. We're just about everywhere. So, including Spotify, iTunes, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, you name it. So, yeah, should probably just jump into this one.
Yeah.
I know you said before we hit record, he's like, "Oh, I got to talk about this. There's some news." So now I'm interested to hear what that news is.
Oh, do you want me to talk about right now? Okay.
Absolutely.
Today marks the 30th anniversary. Final Fantasy VI is 30 years old.
Really?
Yep.
Holy crap! I mean, I feel already too old.
Came out in 1994. So yeah.
When do you know what month it was? 94.
I mean, it's probably April 2nd, I think, because I know people were talking about yesterday in Japan, and so let me look it up.
If that is true, that is my junior year of high school.
April 2nd, 94 for Super Famicom. October 11th, 94 for America.
So the American version, I was in my senior year. That is wild.
Such a good game. Look, I own it like 6 times or something.
You know, and that's what people talk about too. Especially people that are into retro, they talk about that one specifically. So that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is the best way to start the podcast.
It really is. Right, and I'm thinking about buying the Pixel Remaster on my Switch or something, because I have it on Steam, but you know, it's just not the same. It's like the Steam version, I think, is actually different. I think they might have updated it by now, but I know the console versions were a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, and I don't buy too much stuff on Steam anymore. I try to buy it elsewhere. So, in my Switch for a lot of that stuff, anything that's retro, like we were just talking before the podcast started, tangent. I bought Felix the Cat. They did a re-release of it, and it has the NES and the Game Boy version. I bought the digital version on Switch.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to look really good on the Switch. It's going to run really good. And with Final Fantasy VI, that pixel updated version, it's going to look really, really good on your Switch, on your OLED.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the opera scene, because I know they changed it. I never got that far into the Pixel Remaster on the computer, but like they kind of HD2D'd the opera scene. Because I remember we talked about that on an episode quite a long time ago, like when we had a guest, and yeah, they changed that opera scene for the better, for the worse, who knows? But I think it actually even has the lyrics. Like I think someone is singing like Italian or Latin or whatever in the new version, but who knows? But yeah, no, Final Fantasy VI, it's one of my favorite games. I have so many copies behind me up there above my head. So I have a complete box of every single one, I want to say. Yeah, the Super Famicom, or I guess the Super Nintendo one, I'm missing the map. But like yeah, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, Japanese Game Boy Advance. Oh, did that fall? That's what that was. That's what fell. The PlayStation and the Japanese PlayStation. So.
I think if I was to ever own one in box complete any game, it would be Super Mario Brothers 3. But man, that's jumped up in price. I don't know what it is.
I mean, this up here, like the Final Fantasy 3 Super Nintendo, that's jump up in price all the time, just more and more every single day.
Yeah.
I think it's above 300 now, maybe. I don't know. I think it's my most expensive game at this point, according to Game Eye, because Game Eye has actually been a lot better about their pricing and stuff lately. Like they did a big old update and did things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I have to scroll now because this is annoying. Final Fantasy, $321 complete in box.
That is insane.
And mine was like 160 maybe.
That's crazy. I feel like the retro market's still strong, but for certain things, like I know we were talking earlier that I own a copy of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and when I first bought it, it was like $320.
Yeah.
Now it's like 150. It's dropped off like quite a bit, but like I feel like things like Final Fantasy just those don't really drop in price too often. It's rare.
Yeah.
Especially since they come out with new games every, they come out with some sort of Final Fantasy thing often.
Yeah, they definitely do.
So as if you're your first time listening, we go on tangents like this all the time. But I do want to hear what you are playing and what you're watching.
Okay. Well, we don't really have this topic anymore. First of all, I want to show something really quick, but we used to have a thing called hidden trophies, which may come back as a YouTube video at some point once I figure out how to edit and just make things better. But I did pick up something over the weekend that I want to show off, which is Homura and Hikari Pyramithra for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So got the amiibos.
Did that just come out?
No, this is old. Like I had to find this at a disc replay.
Do I dare ask what you paid for it?
A little above. Like I think it was like, oh, they fell. It was about. I'm probably gonna open it eventually too. 40 something.
That's not bad.
Yeah, because I think they were 40 when they came out. Because it's a 2-pack.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Because the new one is 40.
Some amiibos are crazy in price.
They are.
So, yeah.
But yeah, no, I got that. I got some other stuff, and it kind of leads into what I've been watching and stuff. I forget. Did I talk about this last time? I've been watching Brack. Did I talk about that?
Like Brack's show?
Yeah. Did I talk about?
Oh my gosh, no, you didn't.
Okay, yeah. I've been watching Brack, and let me tell you, Brack is a horrible show, but it's only 12 minutes long per episode, and Brack's dad says something funny once, it's worth the whole the 12 minutes or whatever. You're like, okay, that saved the episode, because Brack's dad is hilarious. He's clearly like a Ricky Ricardo ripoff, but like, yeah, it's so good. With that, I hate almost all the characters. I hate when Brack is just singing for no reason. I like Thundercleese. Thundercleese is cool. But yeah, it's not a good show.
That's like early Adult Swim.
It is. Do I have that behind me too? Okay, maybe not. I don't know where they went. I had a bunch of stuff. I have this, I guess. Yeah, so I also bought like Brack on DVD. I bought Brack. I bought oh yeah, here's another one I've also bought. Space Ghost.
I do like Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
So they took Space Ghost off of the air, They took Space Ghost off of Max, and so that led me into like trying to collect certain shows like this. And I've been watching Brack on Max and watched the first season because there's only 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And there's only like 8 episodes per season or something. So yeah, Brack is not a good show. I do not recommend it at all. Like, it's clearly, I don't even actually, it's old Adult Swim, but it's so old Adult Swim that I don't even know if it's meant for the stoners yet. Do you know what I mean?
No. It's like
It's not Aqua Teen yet.
No. And it's like, what is that C Lab show?
C Lab 2021.
I never found it funny.
Well, it's so I don't know if you know like what an abridged series is or whatever, that like Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series or whatever, like those old relatively like YouTube videos where they just like super edit and just dub over it and create their own stories. Like that's what C Lab's the original. That is just like, here's C Lab from Hanna-Barbera a long time ago, but let's just dub it and do a little bit of different animation on it, and then it's our own thing. And yeah, C Lab's not funny either. Yeah, I agree.
No.
C Lab's not funny at all. But Brack gets a little bit of a chuckle every once in a while, and when it does, you're like, man, this is worth it. But whole first season, I can maybe recommend. I've only watched the first episode of season 2, and it was so awful. It was the worst thing ever. There was no funny joke from Brack's dad, and so it just ruined the whole thing. But yeah, watching that. What else I've been watching? Did I talk about this as well? Yeah, maybe. I watched a little bit more of Legends of Awesomeness, the Kung Fu Panda cartoon from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, you did talk about that last time.
I'm watching a little bit more of that just because it's just on Paramount, and it's still good. It's something good to have on in the background. Like, it's not, it's not quality, but like it's about, it's not as enjoyable as the movies, but like it's about like the best that you can expect from a thing like this. It's something where it's just like, oh, there is a movie and it's having its own spin-off series. Cool. That's probably gonna be bad. This is okay. Like, it's still very okay. And I don't find it offensive or anything. The last episode that I watched was really funny though. It was Mantis has to go back to his like home village or whatever, and he's like being really secretive about it. And it turns out that he was left at the altar, and so to one up his original to be wife, he's like, I'm actually the dragon warrior, so everyone thinks he's a dragon warrior over there. And so Poe sneaks along, and so he has to like be like, I'm not the dragon warrior, see, I have a limp and I have an eye patch and I just say weird things at random times. I'm the dragon warrior sidekick. And so like it's one of those types of episodes where it's like, oh, you should tell the truth because then it's better. But yeah, it was very funny. Like, there's a lot of slapstick in that episode especially, and that was probably the best episode of Legends of Awesomeness so far. So if they can just keep that funniness, that humor up there, like, I think that this show is gonna be pretty good. And then I can watch the Amazon show, and then I can watch the Netflix show, and then eventually I'll watch Kung Fu Panda 4 and probably be disappointed. But yeah, I don't really know what else. Oh, I watched a Conan movie recently. Not Conan Barbarian, Detective Conan. I was like, no, I haven't watched a Conan movie in a long time. I watched movie 7 in a totally real way of doing it, because it clearly was released here. So yeah, I watched movie 7 and it was okay. The problem with it though is that it's from like 2003, and so they clearly just discovered CG for the first time, and so they outsource like the CG to like some company. I forget what they're called, but there's like multiple motorcycle and like car chases in the movie, and it just switches to, oh, we're just watching a PS2 game right now. Okay. And like it doesn't look bad. It just looks very like, why is this in my anime? You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. And like happens like 2 or 3 times. Because they're clearly just very impressed with, oh, this technology is really cool.
Right.
I mean, it is cool, I guess, because we still use CG for today, and like there's certain like scenes where it was 2D and CG with the bike at the same time. I actually thought that looked pretty good. um but yeah, no, it was a fairly like okay film. It's not the greatest one. I think the greatest one is either like the 20th film or something like that, Blue Sapphire, or probably like the first or the second film. Those are really really good films, honestly. But that's all I've really been watching. I don't know when we do episodes anymore, so I don't know what I say. Um, so I never know what I say on these shows. So what I've been playing, I beat Rebirth. I don't know if I said that on the last episode.
You were close
Okay.
on the last episode, but not 100%.
Okay. Yeah, because I beat Rebirth last week, like last weekend, or not last weekend, but the weekend before that. So yeah, we would have already recorded. So yeah, I beat that. It's a really really good game. I don't know what else to say. Like I think it's awesome. I think it's really 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 good. I like the story elements that they do, then they change and whatever. Um, I like how it forces me to use other characters. At first, I was sort of trepidatious, like on it. Like I was just very scared and just overwhelmed with like, oh no, I have to learn how to play Red 13. This isn't gonna be fun. But then I was like, oh, I like Red 13. He's pretty cool. And then I was like, man, I have to learn how to play as Kachi, or Kate Sith as they call him. So I have to learn how to play as him, and he's confusing. But once you learn how to use him, he's cool. But like my main team is always just Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, and I main Tifa as like the leader, because Tifa, like at a certain point you get really really good like abilities that you can like do twice, and then when you're like in your overpowered state, then just each punch that you do just makes the stagger bar like go even higher up, so then you have a faster rate to like stagger the enemy. And then you like do all your supers, and then at that time your meter's already up, and then you just get your overpoweredness again. You just rinse and repeat. But yeah, no. I still have like a lot of like side quests and stuff to do. I think I ended the game at like level 47, 48. I want to say is what everyone is about. Because you really just get like team exp. Like I don't think anyone's really under leveled. I think everyone kind of just gets the same amount of exp for the most part. I can't tell you though. I mean there might be someone who's a little bit lower. I don't remember. I didn't really pay attention because you didn't really have to. But yeah, I did a stream, I think last Friday or something like that. Where I was just doing some cleanup, and so I was doing the what's that kid's name, Chadley or whatever. I was doing his quests, which is basically like there are these quests in each zone, um, where you can basically enhance the materia of I think it technically enhances it, maybe not, but you can find like the summon materia for that area, and if you touch all the stones and do everything there and resonate with it, then your battles against the materia, you can, instead of fighting the enemy at like full strength, you can like lower it down, so then you can just like obtain the materia instead of
nice.
instead of like having to fight like a really really tough battle. And so you get rewarded for like touching all these stones and all that. And so like yeah, I fought Alexander, I believe, and I fought someone else, but yeah, they were, oh, I fought the Phoenix, and like yeah, they were very very tough, for sure. Like they were definitely harder than some of the boss fights from later on, for sure. But yeah, I played some of that, and then oh yeah, I also played Sonic Superstars, and let me tell you, this game sucks. I hate it. Like I tried liking it. I might still play more of it just because I have it, you know what I mean? And it's not that long of a game. I'll probably still keep it too because it was a gift. But the thing is that I generally resonate I don't resonate with stealing from charities with Gerard, but I resonate with his I resonate with his games that he enjoys, because we tend to like the same type of things. And so like before all that controversy and all that kind of stuff happened with the money and all that, he was doing a let's play on Super Beard Bros, where they played all of Sonic Superstars, and like watching him play it and really enjoy it, I was like, oh, this looks really fun, this looks cool. But then once you're actually playing it, I was like, man, this isn't great. This first level is really boring. The second level is really boring. This third level is okay, but like maybe once I get to that weird like pixelated zone, I think that'll be kind of cool. But the game's just really easy and like stupid hard at random parts. And so I don't think it knows the demographic who's playing it. And so
Right.
it just, I don't know, it's just weird. Like I said, I'll probably still continue and play it, but I don't enjoy it. I like that's, yeah, at this point I don't like the game. And that's weird coming from me because I feel like I'm like most Sonic games. Like I can find the good in Sonic 06. Like I don't think that game's completely trash. Like I think that game, if you install it on your Xbox 360, there's less load times, and then as long as you're not just like trying to exploit like the, oh, I'm going to stand on the ledge and do weird stuff because the game isn't designed correctly. As long as you actually just play the game's fine. And that, although I guess I didn't like Sonic Colors, so I don't know. Everyone loved that game. I love Sonic Heroes though. Supposedly there's going to be a remake of that, but I don't know if that's happening anymore. Um, but yeah, that's all I've really been doing besides the Balatro or whatever, you know, that poker game that I play like every night on my Switch. It's still interesting, but like I don't know if I'm gonna stop or like I feel like I probably should, just because like I'm not getting anywhere. I'm horrible at this game, but it's just like something to do and something that's mindless, you know, to just not like, now I know how my dad feels like when he back like when I had to like, let's see, he had PS2 games, right? So he had his own PS2 games. So when I wasn't playing the PS2, which was probably because we had like a GameCube as well, because I got GameCube first and then a PS2, so I was probably either playing the GameCube or something else. Um, he got like those like World Series poker games or whatever, or like some of those types of like PS2 like simulated gambling games, you know. They're actually really fun. Well, those older ones, when there isn't like any sort of microtransactions, obviously, or like any sort of like, I don't know, just online play. You're just playing against bots, you're just playing against computers. You can walk around a whole casino and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna play blackjack, or I'm just gonna play slots, I can do whatever. And like I would just watch him play poker, I would play poker or whatever. And like, yeah, that's how I feel right now when I'm playing Balatro. Like I'm just like, I'm playing poker because I have nothing else better to do, I guess, right now.
And poker was at its peak around that time.
That
So
was
they
like,
then started being on ESPN and
yeah, 2000, probably 2003, probably around that time.
I was playing a lot of poker
Yeah.
at that point. Like in like it, I had been to a couple casinos and I was playing with friends. Um, and now it's like I have all these chips and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'll never do it. But like that was a huge thing back then. Was
I
that?
miss playing poker. Like I like playing actual poker, but like I don't have the confidence of doing it like Vegas or whatever. You know what I mean?
There's
Like
so much etiquette.
there is, or it's like blackjack. I'm like I love playing blackjack, but I know I'm gonna like upset someone over there because it's like you were supposed to take that card. Why didn't you hit? You're supposed to always hit until you hit um what is it? A double number or whatever. Like if you
Yeah,
hit over 10 or hit over 9 or whatever, then you're supposed to I forget. Or no, you're supposed to hit until you get to 21
right.
almost basically. Yeah. Um so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's all I've really been doing. Playing all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll play some Final Fantasy 6 eventually again. Who knows?
Well, I finished the Halo series, watched season finale. Um, it actually sets it up so it's right where the first game starts now.
So it's done.
So
So the show is done now.
they're supposedly they have not greenlit a third season,
Okay.
but they set up to have a third season, and it would start where the actual game starts.
Okay. Because I didn't know like yeah they're gonna start and like have a series like okay now this is where the game starts like you said like that's how it ends but I didn't know if they would have the confidence to actually we're gonna adapt the game.
Well, they had the the I can't think of the name of them, but like the people, it was like the parasite would get in your body, and you would
Oh
you know
yeah.
that was in the last couple episodes. And then he actually got to the Halo,
Mm.
so um, that's where it ended. And so that was pretty good. As much people hate it because he doesn't wear a helmet and he talks more, you have to have dialogue. And if we've all known Master Chief not to have a ton of dialogue, you got to see his face to get the where it's at. Um, so I'm watching a lot of that, and then I just finished um, the third season of Abbott Elementary.
Oh
That
yeah,
show that show's hilarious.
I've only watched like the first season maybe.
The second season is really good. Third season, you always worry about that third season, but I feel like the third season is my favorite.
They had
Who
like
is your
guest stars and stuff, right?
yeah, yeah. Who's your favorite character?
I don't know his name but I'm just gonna say Chris Rock.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, so that character, the one that was on the show, Everyone Hates Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's funny, but do you know what I really love? The principal.
She's hilarious too.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So like spoilers, the one episode there was like they're coming in the morning and there was a small fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, "Oh, I don't remember doing a fire drill." And she comes running down the hall. She's like, "Oh no, this is for real. This is for real. I'm getting out of here." So she's blowing past all these students, right? And so they're doing the lineup thing. And they get them outside. All of a sudden, you just see her drive by in her car, just
Yeah.
gone. She gone.
Yeah.
Uh, so I finished that up there. I
That's
must
all
have
on
a thing
Max, right?
Hulu.
Hulu.
It's
Okay.
on both.
Okay.
But I must have a thing for that type of shows because I love The Office and
Yeah.
I love Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I finished that up. I love that show, and that's all I've really been watching. It's been a really busy couple weeks, but I did get the new Felix the Cat game. Like I said, I played a little bit of that, which has been really really good. Um, but that's not really been it. Um, uh, Work's been crazy, so I haven't had a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, my kids are in sports now, so that makes things a little difficult. Um, but I did get some last week. I did get some Persona in, uh, Persona 4 Golden. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I think I have like 2 more dungeons. I think 3 maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting there, and we when eventually, hopefully before June,
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll get there. But but it's funny because like that new Sandland game, I didn't know there was an anime, and so
Yeah, it's on
uh,
Hulu.
I started watching episode last night and I fell asleep.
Apparently,
But
it's
what I watched,
amazing.
from what I watched, it was really really good. I just like I said, I've had a long week.
Yeah.
Um, there, uh, so I'm hoping to get some of that, and they just put Jujutsu Kaisen back on Hulu,
Oh, they did. Okay. So
so I want to watch that.
what? How many seasons of that are there now? 2, 3?
So for that, they only have season 1.
Okay. Because there's also a movie. So don't worry about 0.
Yeah, so they just did the first season, but
Mm-hmm.
it's already on the top 10 list.
Yeah.
It didn't take very long. The first time I ever watched it was on Max, HBO Max,
Yeah.
and then it left, and then it went to the anime streaming services. So I'm gonna try and get that watched first because I don't want it to go,
Mm-hmm.
and then not finish it. Um, but as we do in most of our shows, this is a pretty good conversational podcast. I wanted to talk about a pretty controversial. I would say it's controversial, but uh, backlogs, video game backlogs.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I want to talk about it because there's been a lot of talk about buying physical, buying digital, and stuff like that. And so what I talked to Alex was come up with 5 games from your backlog that you either started or you bought and you were gonna play. Um, and if it's like me, I've been so busy with things, um, so tired with work and stuff. Um, but that does make me think of a kind of a segue here is what has made things easier for me with working so much is Magic Mind. And so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So we have a good friend of the show, Magic Mind. We have been using it for almost a year now. So what Magic Mind is, you're asking like, what is it? So it is a all natural energy drink. Um, so some of the things that I really like about it, so it is no sugar, nut free, vegan, keto, paleo free, and friendly. So if you're on any sort of those things, you can use it. For me, I was drinking a lot of coffee or energy drinks myself, which are not specifically healthy, um, not good for your body at all.
Definitely
And
not.
I could do one Magic Mind in the morning with half a cup of coffee, and I'm good the whole day. I mean, what about you with you using it? Because I know you've been using it as well.
Yeah. So for me personally, I'm not really a coffee person anymore. But I am a soda person, and I thrive, or not thrive. I need the caffeine. I feel like I really just need it. But I've been able to, with Magic Mind, I've been able to just take one in the morning and not even need any sort of supplementary caffeine at all with it. I can just take the Magic Mind on its own and then just continue on my day. And that's honestly just all I really need to stay alert for the rest of the day. Yeah, I don't need any mid afternoon soda or anything anymore to stay up. I have the energy just from that one Magic Mind for the day, and it definitely has helped um every every day for me, just especially for me, and then for you as well to a degree. Like we work from home sometimes, me more so than you. So like, there's a lot of motivation of working from home and all of that, and you're just very groggy. You're very used to just like, I'm at home, so I'm exhausted and all that. But thanks to Magic Mind, like I don't know, I have the energy as if like I'm like actually out and about and doing things like just in my home. So I feel like that's great. I have the ability to work efficiently.
Yeah, I think the other thing I really like about them is, you know, try it out. If you don't like it, they have 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked, and they usually do a refund within 3 to 4 hours, which is pretty unique to any company nowadays. Um, Also, because they are friends of the show, they are giving you a great opportunity if you want to go ahead and try them out. So if you go to magicmind.com/slash get at it games, that's MAGICMIND.com slash get at it games, GETATIGAMS, with the code get at it 20, you would get 20% off your first purchase, or you get even a bigger discount if you do a subscription. And again, that code is get at it 20, which is GETATIT 20 to get your 20% off of a either one-time purchase or get a bigger percentage off for a subscription, which is even better there. And of course, we will have a link down below to kind of check that out as well. And like I said, we definitely use it. So give them a check them out. All right. So now I know with this topic, I've just seen a lot of stories about it. So I have visuals, which normally it's funny if you watch this show or if you listen. Alex is the one that usually has visuals, but I have visuals today. Alex, what is your first one? Which, by the way, these are in no particular order. We just picked out 5. What's the first one on your list?
Okay. So yeah, I don't have visuals today because they're all like in a ton of different places. So I mean, I guess I kind of have visuals per se. Let me pull up my list. Some of them are behind me even. A lot of the things on my list for my backlog are things that I played a little bit or like a lot of and then just fell off for some reason, but I really just have to get back to it. And like because of that I feel the need to like actually do something with it. It's not like a game where it's just like, man, I bought this, I should play it. Like I don't really have those necessarily. Like I feel like for most of the games that I bought, I know what I'm actually going to play and what I'm not going to play. So like sometimes I am just like collecting where it's like, yeah, I have this horrible Inuyasha PS2 game that I streamed once that Steph made me stream, but it's I'm not gonna play that. Like I don't count that as my backlog. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna touch that. It's a horrible PS2 RPG. It's awful. But yeah, I have the Japanese version as well. So I'm gonna go with Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. So like that is a game that I streamed for a bit. The main reason why I stopped, I don't remember. I think a game came out or like I had to go on vacation or something like that. So I kind of stopped. But that and I had to delete it off my hard drive because back then, like I didn't have this M.2. I didn't have this 2 terabyte hard drive where I could put stuff on. I just had the 800 and something gigabytes that you have with your PS5. So like now that I have something bigger, I can actually put it back on there and play it and all of that, and it should be good to go. Um, Honestly, quite a few of these are that type of thing, but yeah, I really enjoyed Stranger Paradise when I was playing it. That's the Souls, I guess not Souls, like kind of Souls like, but more like Neo, I would say. Final Fantasy game where it's very much it's um it's retelling the very first Final Fantasy game, like the original like NES Famicom Final Fantasy game, but it's like a 3D action adventure type game where like you can change your class a lot, you have different abilities, you're doing parries, you're trying to not die because it is a difficult game for sure. And playing Final Fantasy both 16 and I guess 7 Rebirth, it kind of made me want to get back to Origin, the Stranger Paradise, because it has a similar type of like, I don't know, I'm dodging a lot, I'm doing a lot of projectile magic, I'm guarding. I don't know. It's more precise movements in my attacks and in my in the combat, and so I
Yeah.
really do enjoy that in that game. The story is stupid. Everything about it is so stupid. It's such a meme. Just the main guy, Jack or whatever, is just like, "We're here to kill chaos," and he just keeps saying chaos all the time. But yeah, that's definitely one of them for sure. I want to get back to it at some point. There are other things as well that I want to just like put on my hard drive again and just kind of go to and be easier to get to. But I would also really like to play that. It's built to be multiplayer with missions. So I'd like to try the multiplayer at some point because there are different characters and stuff around you. You have party members that you can switch in and out. Now, I don't know if you just have like two Jacks running around or someone has to be like one of the other characters or what. Um, but yeah, I would love to play that game multiplayer at some point just to, I don't know, give me motivation, I guess, to finish this game. But I felt like I was pretty close. I just stopped for some reason. I don't remember why.
Yeah, I remember watching you play it, and I really liked the way it looked. Um, and not to segue into mine, but as I hold up the game itself, I so this wasn't going to be the first one I talked about, but I bought it because I watched Alex play it, and I was like, "Dang, that's really cool." And then we had actually talked about the multiplayer aspect of it. Um, I haven't booted this at all. I bought it. So here's a funny story. I thought I bought this on a sale for PSN. No, I just bought the soundtrack. Um, so now I own the digital soundtrack
It's a good
as
soundtrack.
well. Yeah. Um, but I got this because I really wanted to play. Um, I want to play this with Alex, and I want to play this multiplayer. And so I bought this. I don't even know when it was when I bought it, but I bought this a long time ago, and I have yet to boot this up.
Probably around this time of the year last year.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
remember
got the
correctly.
game. I think I got the game in 2022, like when I was on a trip. Because I also picked up um Elden Ring, I believe, at the same
Yeah,
time. And if Elden Ring came out in 2022, I have to double check that. But yeah, I remember I picked up Elden Ring and Stranger Paradise and like something else. And so yeah, 2022 is Elden Ring. So yeah, I definitely picked up these. So yeah, you probably watched me play it like early 2022, like around this era, and then it was on like super sale. Like it was like $20
yeah,
everywhere for the longest time. So that's probably when you got it, yeah.
yeah. I did get it, and I got it, and it was much cheaper. Um, and I remember when I got it, my plan was, I think I got it before the holidays, didn't I? If I remember.
No, you got
Well, it was
after the
good.
holidays
Okay.
because like you got it kind of like when I was streaming it. So
Yep.
you probably would have got it like in April of 2023.
And I still own it. Um, I want to get back to it. I want to play it. Let me rephrase that. I have yet to play it, but I liked what I saw Alex play. Um, so yeah, so I still own it, which it's funny because this game here literally fluctuates in price. So I bought it on sale, but it goes from $20 back up to $30,
Huh.
depending on where it's at. So, well, hopefully not the rest of them are on the same list as mine. But go ahead and do your second one since we were both the same one on that one.
Now you do your second one actually.
I'll do my okay.
Yeah.
So here's one here I got, and I bought it when it came out, and I got it because I was like, I never had played the original. This is a remaster. It is Metro Prime remastered. And when I got this, Alex and I got ours at the same time. It for some reason you couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was going for a lot more money than what it was.
Mine's still sealed.
Yeah, I opened mine. It hasn't touched my Switch yet. And it's funny because people that I know that I've seen play it and stuff, this is a very good remaster. This is probably first off, it's a Nintendo remaster, which they seem to do really good jobs at that. Hence Mario RPG and stuff like that. But I have never, because I really didn't own a GameCube, I've never played this. So it'd be for me a first time playing it. So I bought it. It blew up. You could not find it anywhere. You know, it was funny because like when we bought ours, you literally couldn't find it, and then it blew up on the internet.
Yeah.
They were going for like $120 at one point, and now you can walk into a store and find it anywhere.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to own it for my collection. I also feel like this one here, in the next year or so, this one's gonna be one of those ones that's just gonna disappear from the shelves.
Yeah.
Hence that Mario 3D.
I was about to say, yeah, Mario 3D World, All Stars or whatever.
My son owns it and he plays it all the time. And I said, just take care of it because that one's slowly becoming obsolete. Mm-hmm. But so hopefully after these two here, your next one's not Metroid Prime.
It's not.
Hopefully.
It's not.
Okay, good.
No, mine's sealed. I plan to just keep it sealed forever. I'll probably never play it. That's just what it is. I like how I talked about Elden Ring earlier. I was like, yeah, I bet Elden Ring at this time. That's not on this list because I'm never gonna play that either. That's not even like I don't even know why I bought that game. I must have been like out of my mind. But let's see. Man, quite a few of these are games that I bought in 2022. At that same trip. Okay, this isn't that, but I did get it in 2022. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, nice.
I played about half of it. I really, really enjoyed it. Something else came out. I stopped playing it. I was having a lot of fun with the story. I enjoyed the combat for what it was. I remember. Not perfect or anything, but it was a nice take on the Guardians. Like it was clearly they're trying to do what the movie does, but also I don't know, like there's something just with the dialogue choices, stuff like that too. I thought it was pretty funny, and like even like the platforming and stuff wasn't horrible. I enjoyed the team up attack things that were pretty cool, as well as just like playing as Peter Quill, Star-Lord. You can like have certain upgrades and stuff, and like one of them is like yeah, I can like fly around for a bit and like kind of glide and just shoot like Diddy Kong. And so like yeah, I really, really enjoyed that game. It just something came out. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was one of those games where like I was playing it let's see. Yeah, maybe I was just playing it like when I was on vacation only, and then when I got back, maybe that's why I stopped. That could have been it too. Maybe that was the time when I was trying to go through all the Yakuza Ryoko Gotoku games. Maybe that's why I stopped as well.
I remember you playing it because it was on PlayStation Plus, and you had said something to me about it, and so I started playing it, and I think I'm about 35-40% done with the game?
Yeah, I own the game. Like I actually like own it though. Like cuz I got it for like Christmas or something in 2022. And yeah, I really enjoyed it for what it was. It's just something happened where I just stopped, and like I think about it quite often actually. But there's that issue where now I have the M.2, so I can install these games again. But now I have to be like, now I have to install these games again, and like it's gonna take a while to do that. So like, I don't know if I want to waste time installing all these games that I may not even play. So I just have to pick my poison, I guess, at this time and just see what I actually want to do. But I feel like I do want to play more of that game eventually. I know I didn't stream it for sure because it has a lot of licensed tracks in it,
It does.
and there is a way, like a streamer friendly mode, to turn on different music. But I heard like the streamer friendly mode music is awful. So like,
Yeah.
because it's very generic and bad instead of just like good like rock, like 70s 80s rock or whatever. um yeah, so that's my second one, I guess. Yeah.
Um. So my third one here, I got for my birthday because it came out on my birthday last year, and it's Jedi Survivor. I got to a part and I got stuck, and it is a notorious thing for gamers when they get to a good part and they get stuck, they turn it off and they say, "I'll come back to it later." So I'm about 30% done with this game. Um, I finished the first game.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
did
know
as
what it
well. I hated
was.
it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I played like half of it and then I came back to it and I was like, I'm gonna finish this game. And I did. And I went back and finished it. So this one here, I think it improves on the combat and a lot of different things. Um, there's just a couple times where I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do right now.
Yeah.
Um, and they're not very clear on some of it. So
Hmm.
that kind of makes it difficult. So I just stopped playing it. From what I've played so far, though, the game is great.
Yeah.
And since I own the PS5 version, it's not the I know the PC version had a lot of problems at launch. I never had a single problem with it.
Hmm.
I'm still waiting for this character to show up somewhere in the Star Wars like live action universe
Hmm.
because it's around that time, especially around the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
which would be cool. But it's a good game. It really is, and I just again, I just something else happened or I got stuck. This one I got stuck, and it just caused me to like lose interest in it because I got stuck,
Yeah, I
which
don't I don't
is
know how
unfortunate.
far I got into that game. I think I got to like the village or whatever. Um but my big problem with that game is that I probably talked about it on the show, is that the cutscenes run in 30 frames, but when you're playing in performance mode, it's like a locked 60 frames. And so it's very jarring when like you're playing the game, it's so fluid and so nice and plays awesome, and then you get to a cutscene loading and then like, oh, why is this all this way? And then it's just like half the
Right,
frames and it just like gives you a headache. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped, because I'm trying to play this game like in performance mode. You give me performance, someone do that. But like, why are the cutscenes locked at 30 as well? Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all
right.
to me. But here we are.
And like I said, it was good.
Mhm.
Obviously, I've seen spoilers now that it's been out for so long, but I will still go back and play it.
Yeah,
Um,
I know
the
nothing that happens in that game. I'll probably play it eventually. That's not on my list though.
but see, this is another one that if because I haven't played it for so long, I would probably have to restart it
Yeah.
just to understand where I'm at.
Hmm.
So, and again, we're not. If you look at so far the ones we've talked about, I haven't started the first two, but this one I have. But if you notice, the thing that we've both been talking about, we've both. There's a lot of the games that he's either talked about or whatnot that I've played as well already, or vice versa. So, yeah. So what is your third one?
I debated on putting this on here because, like, I know I'm gonna get to them eventually. Oh, maybe I'm gonna get to them eventually. You know, who knows? I put the Xenosaga games on here. They're behind me. Because there's 3 of them. They're essentially one game at this point. It's like Dot Hack, you know, where it's all of them at the same time. And so yeah, it's 3 PS2 games. They're 3 games that are RPGs, maybe. I don't even know because it's been so long. I played the first Xenosaga episode 1 a long time ago in a galaxy far away, and so I just don't remember even what the type of game it is. I assume it's an RPG. It's probably an RPG. It's Xenosaga. It's Xeno whatever, and so I want to play those eventually, probably on stream, kind of like how I did with Dot Hack, because I have the retro tink, so I can do some upscaling a little bit and just make the game look nicer on capture card and all that, and make it all play great. Like, and it gives me an excuse to play my expensive games because, like,
Yeah,
the third game was like $160 how much I spent on it, but like that game is clearly it goes over 200 for sure. I just got a really good deal on it, but yeah, those are games, especially after playing the first 2 Xenoblade games. I don't have Xenogears on this list though, but I guess maybe I could kind of throw that in there along with this. Just the other Xeno games are things that I would just want to get into because I really liked Xeno Blade 2 a lot. I'll get to 3 eventually. I'll get to the DLC eventually, but because I have those already, and I actually do have plans to play those eventually, like soon. But with the others, it takes a little more effort to do because they're older hardware. So like I have to like set things up differently. I have to make sure just everything still works. Can it read discs? All that kind of stuff, you know. So like I really it takes a lot of effort. So hopefully the effort is worth it. And yeah, I think I'll enjoy it. I've heard they're interesting and cult classicy, but will I actually like enjoy the combat and stuff? Probably not. But who knows? You know, I bought them for a reason, and no one else, not everyone has these games, so we'll see. Yeah, I heard. You want me to keep going? Okay. So, yeah, so Ben took a walk because it sounded like a dog was making noise, and so he's doing a little bit of walk. You can see for audio listeners, I'm going to describe his room right now. So he has a bunch of NES games just stacked. Obviously, like he has a ton of them back there. There's a red Raphael just like sitting in the corner. He's
okay,
kneeling and okay. I was just describing your room.
so if anyone knows, like obviously I have children, and we had a situation, and then I know on this view, I know Alex can probably see it. My hand is over here going like, "Go away,
Yeah.
child." Um, crisis averted. Um, it's so funny you talked about those there because my next one is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So this is the second time I bought this. Funny story. GameStop had a big sale, and they had a whole bunch of games at like really good percentage off for brand new games, right?
Yeah.
And so I told Alex, I said, "Hey, I think I'm going to get this." And he's like, "That's a good price. Get it." So I bought it, and they shipped everything but that. And I waited, and then I waited, and then talked to their customer service. "Oh, it's coming." It's just because it was on sale. Finally, I got like a credit back because this game sold out so quickly that they just didn't have enough stock.
Yeah.
So I didn't get it, and I was really like upset. And then they had another sale, and this was more than the first time I bought it, but I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. And the reason I got this one, even though Alex is like, hey, that's great, but you need to play the other two first. Is I've watched our friend of our show, Michaela, play it. I've seen Alex play the other ones, and I wanted to play it and kind of get into it.
Mm.
Um, I will say that I've not played this one yet because I do need to get the other ones. But one thing that I really did like about this is I like the old school feel of the RPG elements of it. Um, and if you've ever tried to buy the other two on Switch, they're getting more difficult to find.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure to get this one while I could get it, even though I still need to get the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I get it. I know that Alex goes to Discreet Plays a lot, and he goes to other places in Indy. And if you may find a copy, you'd be like, "Oh, hey, there's
I
one
feel
here.
like I
It's a
find
clone."
2 a lot now. I don't see
Yeah.
definitive edition as much anymore.
And if I don't get the definitive, I'll be okay. I do want to get the other ones. Their prices on eBay fluctuate.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like to buy a lot of games on eBay because, man, I always feel like I'm going to get burnt. And it's funny because I resell on there, but when it's like things like this, like I know one time I bought a Switch game on there, and it looked like the case, right? And then I got it; it was photocopied.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I mean, obviously, I was getting it to sell, but then when I sell it, I have to be honest about it.
Yep.
Um, but watching you and Michaela play this is why I got it.
Hmm.
Um, but Alex informed me, hey, that's cool, but you really should play the first two before
So
you play that
after
one.
playing the first 2, I can say yes, you still should play the first 2. However, you can probably get away with playing the third one like vanilla just on its own. It's that final DLC where it combines everything together. That's the one where you really need to play the first 2 to understand anything.
And I realize that. I feel like I will get the other two at some point.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a matter of me being patient
Yeah.
and just getting out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, we're kind of rolling through this list here, but we're getting down to some really nitty gritties. This last one that I have before, I'm not going to do it now. I want you to do one. You're going to be like kind of surprised because I talk about it all the time, but yeah. So what's your next one?
Mine's a twofer again. The Ryuga Gotoku Judgment series. So Judgment, Lost Judgment. I played Judgment on PS4 for a little bit, and I really did enjoy like what it was and enjoyed the combat and all of that, and the acting and all that stuff was really fun. It was a detective game, so I thought that was really interesting to have in like a Yakuza hype game. Um, my problem with it is that it was the frame rate because I had it on PS4. Because the Dragon engine is just kind of weird, and sometimes just the frame rate's just kind of weird on that. But I guess the PS5 version has better frame rate, and so that's why I have the PS5 version. And then I also picked up Lost Judgment at some point for fairly cheap, I think last year, because I was like, well, I'm gonna buy it eventually, right? So I got that for PS5 as well. So I have both the games for PS5. They're just kind of sitting there. Um, yeah, those are some games that I want to get back to. I want to get back to just because I really do like the Yakuza Rigo Gotoku series a lot. I'm still not a fan of the newer like RPG element, like a dragon type stuff, like 7 and then 8. So playing a game that's more brawler heavy, I think I will enjoy a lot more. So once I beat 7, then maybe I can go to this and then the other one. But yeah, I just feel like I'm missing out because I played almost all the other Ryuga Gotoku games, and they kind of connect, I guess, and you might get some references in certain games if you see some things, but like overall they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But I've played 0 Kiwami, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Ishin. I have the Japanese PSP games. I have the Kenzan or whatever, the other swordsman one in Japanese. So like yeah, I have or played a lot of these, so I feel like I should definitely give these a chance at some point. And out of other games in my shelf and all that, like those are ones I actually want to get back to, especially because again, I really did enjoy what I played of the first one, but it's just that that frame rate was kind of weird for me. I didn't really enjoy the 30 frames; just felt kind of off. So playing it on a PS5 with a PS5 version, I think just things will go better.
I actually own. I think I own Judgment on PS5.
I think you own both of them.
I think I do. Talk about two other games that not touched. But I really did like Judgment. I know a lot of the Yakuza games Alex like try to get me into, I've just not got into. But that one was what I did. I like the combat. I like the aspects of case solving. Also, I like going to the one place and hitting baseballs.
Yeah, batting cage.
Yeah, but yeah, I would like to get back with those there. So, but yeah, those are really good games, and I think they offer both of them on PS Plus now. I think both of them are on PS Plus now.
Probably. They keep appearing and disappearing everywhere. So like
Yeah.
I would recommend someone if you're interested in them play one of them at least first and see, but cuz honestly, I don't think you have to play any of the other Yakuza games to really enjoy this. I think maybe one character or something will show up, but it's just kind of like in the same location. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't have any problems like understanding story and stuff, so.
yeah.
All right, so my last one is one that's kind of shocking. You can't see it's shocking because the first one I got, um, this is a sequel, um, but it is God of War Ragnarok. And why this is so shocking is because I owned the first one and I played through it. I actually got the collector's edition. So back there next to Raphael is Kratos and Atreus statue from that collector's edition. The graphics, the way this works, is so much better than the last one. It just runs better.
So I'm gonna stop you. I forgot I owned that game.
This one?
I forgot I owned it. Yeah. I just remember that game exists and I own it.
I remember when you bought it. I remember you were talking about, oh, I just got it.
I played 2 hours. That was it. That was the game that got lost to me having it for Christmas time and then coming back home and then just not touching it again.
I'm about 5 hours in.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, like, running on a PS5, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks great. This is probably another one of those games that runs the best. I actually own the Steelbook because it came with a collector's edition for the first one. And I'm about 15, 16 hours in the first one. So I've not finished the first one either. But again, it's hard for me. Some of these M-rated games are difficult because I do have kids. And the way my house is, my TV faces the staircase. So if I'm not paying attention, someone may be watching me, especially in God of War, totally disembowel somebody.
Yeah.
I will say that in this game here, when you get to the scenes with water looks amazing. Probably one of the second best looking games on PS5. I will say that. And it's not even like it's because it's a long game or a bad game. Just life happens, you know.
It has that free DLC that came out too.
Yeah. Valhalla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've already downloaded the DLC. So, but everyone I've talked to and where I've read, I have to finish the story for this first.
Yeah.
Before I go into Valhalla. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy thing. There'll probably be a third one out before I finish it. Let's just be honest. Um, so what is your last one?
So my here, hang on. My last one might be surprising. Maybe not. So it's a PSP game. It's a PSP game that took a lot of effort to make it work. And I stopped it because I was playing Xenosaga or Xenoblade 2 and then Rebirth and then all these other games. It's called Dot Hack Link. There is a I think I've talked about it. There's an official or not official, excuse me. There's a fan translation, there's a fan English patch that's out and that came out and it's the full game and they did it all and it's great and amazing. Someone actually finished the game. This is a dot hack game that never got an American release. I have the game physically. I was able to hack my PSP and then use that to transfer because I don't trust ROMs. I don't trust emulation sites or whatever. I do trust apparently these sketchy websites where I get the patch from, because like they're not gonna hurt me. I think because it's a fan translation thing. I feel like they're chill people. I don't think they're trying to do anything to me, and so I go and I download the fan translation. I follow the steps. I take my ISO from dot hack link from my disk and I push that over to my computer, which took like 10 minutes to do. Basically, copy the disk over to my computer as a file. And then after I did that and applied the patch, then I copied it back. But this time, you don't copy it to the disk, you copy it to your SD card. So then you're not running off the disk anymore. You're just running it through the SD card through emulation, essentially. Or not emulation, I guess. You're running as if it was like a downloaded game, I should say. Because PSP had that technically, you could download games. So that's the way I did it, and everything's great. But yeah, because of all these other games I've been playing, and because I was watching, so yeah, we're gonna blame Michaela. Michaela, it's your fault. So because I was watching Michaela play a lot of like Xenoblade 2, and then I was like, oh, she's actually going further, and so I decided to continue Xenoblade 2 and prioritize that, and I beat it before her, and then I started playing Rebirth and all that. So I think now is probably a good time probably get back into that hack link. I'm not that far into it, but I'm kind of thinking about restarting it. I'm kind of looking into how to stream this thing because I don't want to use an emulator still, even though it's probably the best way of doing it. I don't like Twitch hates emulators. I know that for a fact. And so even though people do it all the time, I just feel kind of scummy. Not to say people are scummy, I guess. But I'm just looking at AV cables and stuff for PSP. Like the AV or the what are those called, the component cables or whatever for PSP, and if I could get that to work maybe, and plug AV cables into like my like RetroTink, and then plug that into the capture Elgato, then I could be like, yeah, I'm playing with original hardware and everything, and I have the game here. We're not, and like you should be able to see it on the screen, or I should be able to see on the screen too. Honestly, like, yeah, I should be able to see it. I can play it that way and just use the PSP as a controller at that point. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet with that. I'm debating on streaming it, but I just needed to get those cables, see how they work. They're not that expensive, the OEM
No,
ones for them. Even I'm looking at like new factory sealed ones. Like, yeah, they're like $20. I see some $28, $12. Like, yeah, it really just depends on, I guess, what I want. So
it's funny you say your PSP because
yeah,
mine's just chilling. So have to back off. Yeah, I don't have any PSP games anymore, but I use it for tests ones I get. Um, but I was playing when I was collecting PSP at one point. I was collecting and playing them all.
yeah,
And so I think the PSP is a good way of doing it. It's funny. I had this topic idea because I wanted to show that, you know, it's okay to have a backlog of games. It really is. Life happens, you know. Um, Alex and I come from two different areas. Like I have kids and he doesn't, and so, but we still have breaks we take. So um, now seeing my list of things here that I want to prioritize, maybe I'll prioritize one of these. Maybe I'll throw Metroid Prime in one day before I go to bed because it is on my Switch, which is easier for me. Maybe you'll get the PSP thing working and stream it, and that'd be kind of cool. So, yeah. So if you're like our show, the show releases on a Wednesday, um, every other week, with the video version coming out on Fridays. We For the audio version, we are everywhere. So whether you're looking at Spotify, iTunes, um, iHeartRadio, Pandora, where we're there to download. And then, of course, on YouTube, please hit subscribe there. Uh, Always, if you go to Spotify, subscribe to us and do the automatic downloads. That helps us out a lot. Um, we're our social media. We're on X. We're on Facebook. Those are our two big ones. Yeah. Alex, do you have anything else to say?
not really much except get at it.
Get at it.